أخبرنا ابن لهيعة قال حدثني يزيد بن أبي حبيب عن عبد الرحمن بن شماسة حدثه قال لما حضرت عمرو بن عاص حضرت عمرو بن العاص. There shouldn't be a wow here. You have a wow. Uh,
Yeah, عمرو بن العاص. Wow.
yeah, because there
Same
should
book.
so basically the wow we put whenever it's mansub or majrur we put a wow. You say جاء عمرو and you put a wow there. ومررت بعمر and you put a wow there. But if it's otherwise you're going to put an alif. Right? So عمرو بن العاص. So because حضرت عمرا الوفاة. Right? So it's the maf'ul bihi. So you say رأيت عمرا. So why do you put a wow there? Because to make sure that nobody thinks it's Omar. But Omar would never have an alif because it's غير منصرف. And Amr will. So when you say رأيت عمرا, you write an alif. Ayn mim ra alif. But with Omar you wouldn't. So I know, is this Omar or is this Amr? Right? So anyway, Allahu Alam, there shouldn't be a wow here. Allahu Alam. بكى فقال له عبد الله لما تبكي. لما تبكي الجزعا should be not الجزعا no like, how is it it's totally different hadith, isn't it? Oh, I see. So here, oh, I see, it's not translated. Why are you weeping? are you, are you afraid of death? So it should be like أتجزع من الموت or something like that, not أجزع من الموت. I don't know, there's something odd there. أجزعا من الموت, are you doing it out of despair of death, or أتجزع من الموت, something like that. Wallahu alam. So his son asks him, Abdullah, his son, Abdullah says, why are you despairing that you're dying? فقال لا والله لكن ما بعده, right, and despairing what comes afterwards. فقال له فكنت فقال فكنت على خير فجعل يذكر صحبته النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وصحبة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وفتوحه الشام. فقال عمرو بن العاص تركت أفضل من ذلك كله شهادة تركت أفضل من ذلك كله أفضل من ذلك كله شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله إني كنت على 3 أطباق. Right, this is really this hadith subhanAllah really hit me. I think it applies to many of us. Right, so he said, I'll just read that and I'll read it in English in a second. So he says كنت على 3 أطباق ليس فيها طبقة لا عرفت نفسي فيها كنت أول شيء كافرا وكنت أشد الناس على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فلو مت حينئذ لوجبت لي النار فلما بايعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كنت أشد الناس منه حياء ما ملأت عيني من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حياء منه فلو مت حينئذ قال الناس هنيئا لعمرو بأشياء ما شاء الله فلا أدري فلا أدري أعلي أم لي فإذا أنا مت فلا تبكين علي ولا تتبعوني نارا ولا تتبعوني نارا وشدوا علي إزاري فإني مخاصم وسنوا علي تراب سنا فإن جنبي الأيمن ليس بحق بتراب من الأيسر ولا تجعلن في قبري خشبة ولا حجرا وإذا رأيتموني فاقعدوا عندي قدر نحر جزور وقد تقطيعها أستأنس بكم. Right, عجيب. Right, this is really touched me, and I read this. So he said, so basically his son was saying, Dad, like, it's okay, you've done lots of really good things. You look how much jihad you've done and all these kind of things. So then he's like, well, actually bigger than that was shahad. I became Muslim. That's a huge thing, right? So then he says, there were 3 stages in my life. So tell me why this touches me. There were 3 stages in my life. In each stage, I discovered something about myself. First, I was an unbeliever and the fiercest of people in opposition against the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Had I died then, the fire would have been mandatory for me, right? Second stage, when I pledged allegiance to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I was the most shy of him, had the most adab, to the extent that my gaze never fully caught the Messenger of Allah. I couldn't even look at him in the face. That's how much haya I had in front of him. So I was so ashamed of everything and had so much resolve to do what is right and so much shame of my past that I couldn't even look him in the face. Had I died, I would have been, people would have said, congratulations to Amr, good job. Like you made it, you died as a real believer. So period 1, super bad. Period 2, really good. He became Muslim and did lots of good things. He died in the States. And the garden would have been hope for me. After that, I was mixed up in things. And I do not know whether they will be in my favor or not. So why does that touch me? What's the story of most people in this classroom? Mm-hmm. Right? They were seriously slacking, right? Usually, not everybody, but many people like this. You were off. Then there was a change and it got really good, right? Because then complacency. Thank you very much. So this is classic. And who told us about this? Jung, right? The psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever it is, whatever it is, psychologist, right? Jung, right? So he said, I don't know if religion is true or not, and that's not my job, but it is healthy. It's not bad, right? So Freud said like religion is a psychosis. It's actually not healthy, right? Like somebody who believes in God is like somebody who believes the wall is going to attack him, right? That's not healthy for you. It's not an okay way to function in life. You're actually going to be in a lot of trauma in reality. Like the walls are going to attack you. That's crazy, right? Oh my God, there's Judgment Day. Right? That's not healthy according to Freud. Jung was like, can't really say that. I think it is healthy. I think it's quite useful. But what did he observe? He said everybody does the following. They are irreligious, they become super religious, and then they slacken. In Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, everybody does that. So this is his situation, right? So Amr ibn As, he's dying, and he's like, there was a bad time. Exactly, Salafi burnout, right? Bad time, good time, I don't know time, right? So what do we have to do then is then we have to shorten the waves, okay? What does that mean? It means you have, so let's say this person, right? They were really bad and then they became really, really good. And now they're kind of like, it's not really working. What do they need to do? Shorten the waves, meaning every single day, astaghfirullah, very, very deep tawbah, penetrating deep tawbah. I don't ever want to be like I was yesterday. So then the blips, the wavelength is much shorter. So then they, right? Qabd and bast, I'm not quite, I don't understand what that is, honestly, but it's not quite the same. So what it is that istighfar. I look at my yesterdays and I don't want to repeat them ever again. So now I have I'm like a convert every day. You become a new convert every day. Like I don't want to pray like I prayed Fajr. I don't want to pray Dhuhr like that. As I prayed, right? So exactly, a deep istighfar, exactly. So deep istighfar, deep change, okay? Then small lull, and then deeper istighfar, right? Deeper change, small lull, right? So they do this in fitness, right? What's it called? HIIT, right? When you do HIIT, right?
High intensity interval
Yeah.
training.
So the interval is like that. So you did high intensity interval training. So your heartbeat goes up to whatever, I don't know, heartbeat. You push it a little bit, okay, and you keep it going for a bit, and then it goes down, but not all the way. And then, so that's your lull. And now you do your istighfar. Beep, you got to start again. So now your heartbeat is higher than it was. Okay? That is going, 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 going. And then there's the lull. You stop. But now what's happening is you're pushing your heartbeat up further and further, further. The general trajectory is high. But there's going to be these lulls, right? كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. Every son of Adam frequently makes mistakes. You're going to mess up. You're going to focus in your prayer and then be proud of your focus in your prayer. Subhanallah, you just messed up big time. Astaghfirullah. So now you used to have one type of sin and now you have another type of sin, but it's a different kind of sin, right? So now you're doing istighfar, not from not praying, but you're doing istighfar for pride for praying. Like I'm proud that I'm praying. I feel myself like I'm religious and they're not. You know, you have this attitude. So now you're doing that kind of, and then it's basically deeper and deeper and various different things. But you have to have this daily conversion, right? What do we 5 times a day we make wudu, right? That's like your buddy from the evangelical church, you know, oh my God, I just had a baptism, my baptizing. I felt I could see Jesus, you know. He feels like, whoa, you know, we do that 5 times a day, right? You're making wudu, right? Stop, start, restart, right? Refresh. You're doing a new you every day, right? The new you, right? You turn up to the quarterly meeting if you're a bit for the company, and it's like, yeah, what's the new plan? We can't just repeat from yesterday, like yesterday, of course. Where are we heading for 2026 and 2027? What's the goal, right? What's the new idea, right? This is what we have to do to continually recreate yourself. Now, it doesn't mean recreate yourself meaning new religion or different, you know, yesterday you went to Quran, now you're into Hadith. Today you're into Hadith, now you're into fiqh, and you just go around in circles and random stuff. It doesn't mean that. I'm talking about the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always a new relationship, right? Deeper relationship. You make Tawbah, you have a burst, you have a lull. Tawbah, burst, lull, right? That's how it works. Right. So yeah, that's slightly different. That's a slightly different thing, Aman. That's a slightly different thing, which is that comes here as well. I don't know where the quote is, but it comes here as well. Is about basically not destroying yourself. Like too much jihad and nafs will kill you, you know? So like I never ever give my nafs anything that it wants ever, right? So you need that small dip, you know? Like I really, really like animals. Like I really like animals. Right? I used to have like all these rabbits. So now I have these kittens, right? The kittens right next to like our cat gave birth like 2 weeks ago. Like super cute. Like, you know, like unbelievably cute. I picked them all up and just like squeeze them. Like they're like 2 weeks old, right? So, but how long are you going to be there for, Habibi? Like you're going to be there for like an hour playing with a bunch of kittens, like Habibi, you're not going to die soon. So you have small things, right? You know, you had two options. They're going to give you a coffee one way or the other. Would you like a cappuccino? Would you like a latte? No. Habibi, it's for free, right? So that's a slightly different issue about balancing, right? Balancing your iman with some kind of nafs, like you have to give to yourself and some love. That's one thing. Here we're talking about something else, which is continually renewing things, right? This Ramadan, not like last Ramadan, right? And so you know, changing and you know, wallahu alam. Exactly, the dip, right? Big problem, you know, social media, right? Social media, YouTube is terrible. The dip is never designed to be a dip, you know. It's like a huge trench, right? May Allah forgive us. That's one thing. The other thing then is Yusuf, when you go to Jannah, what are you going to do? When you go to Jannah, what are you going to do?
I
What's
don't know how to answer that question.
Exactly. Why?
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen when I go to what? There's a lot of premises there that.
Exactly. If, right, you're looking, well, hang on a minute, right? So here's, you know, for example, you know, Yusuf and I say, yeah, in Jannah, we're going to do this. In Jannah, we can do that. Say, Habib Albi, right? You're talking about when you go to Jannah. Here's Amr ibn As for crying out loud. He's like, I don't know. Like, there's things happening. So for us right now, like Gaza, right? You'd say, Wallahi al-Azim, I'm not responsible for what happened to the kids in Gaza. Really? Like you're not responsible at all. Wallahi al-Azim, you're not responsible for global warming. What, really? Like even my cats, right? My cats right now. I just went yesterday, they have an eye problem. I spent half an hour probably driving down to the local vet, or more than that, because I had to organize with it, going down there and getting eye drops. Okay, and it cost $10. Okay, it's cheap here, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So now you say $10. $10 can't feed people, Farid? Right? $10 can't feed people. So you spent $10 and half an hour for some kids, for kittens' eye drops. Obviously that's an act of kindness and responsibility, right? But what's more important, the children of the world, right? Or your kittens. You know what I'm saying? So somebody who walks around life like, oh yeah, I'm not responsible, I'm fine. You have a serious problem. You have a serious problem, right? Like I'm doing enough. I don't think that's a healthy way of thinking. Now you shouldn't be paranoid, like, oh my God, I'm doing everything, but I'm not doing enough, and you're going psycho. It shouldn't be like that, right? That's not healthy. But I'm saying a normal person should be pretty scared, right? So Amr ibn As, he was like, I don't know. Ya Rab, I don't know. I'm trying my best, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the Salaf, they said, the fear of not knowing if your deeds are accepted are much better than your deeds. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the attitude that they would have. Like, I don't know if Allah's accepted it from me. Ya Allah, please. Like that fear or that attitude. Like, I don't know, have I done enough? Did I do things that are right? Was I too strict with my kids? Was I too lenient with my kids? Right? That's a classic question, right? Was I too strict? Was I too lenient? I mean, it's pretty hard. So yeah, Allah, I'm really scared. Was I too strict on them praying, or was I not strict enough on them praying? So too strict on what I let them watch or not, right? So it's a healthy thing. Like, I'm generally questioning myself. I don't know where I'm going, and the choices that I make, yeah, Allah. Like, there's certain issues in fiqh, right? Like the Sahaba, they used to say, whoever wants to enter hell, go and give fatwa on this issue. So it was an issue that they weren't sure about. It was an issue they weren't sure about. Like, what happens when somebody dies, leaving behind brothers and a grandfather? So there's no son, there's no father. How does it work? Do we treat the grandfather as if he was a father, and he gets, or do we treat because they're kind of they're kind of equidistant, right? Like, you connect to your brothers through your father, and you connect to your grandfather through your father. So like, how does it all work? The Sahaba didn't know. So you see the attitude, they weren't like, oh, who knows? It's all good, right? Today we're like, oh, there's no clear proof, so you can do whatever you want. Haha. They were like, oh my God, there's no clear proof. What do we do? So they used to say, whoever wants to enter hell, give a fatwa on this issue. They were super scared, right? They had to give fatwa, but when they gave fatwa, they were super scared, right? You know what I'm saying? Like so the attitude is very, very different, right? Like the attitude that they had. Here's Amr ibn As, like, I don't know, things were bad, things were good. Now things are, I don't know, right? So this is a healthy issue. I don't know how it's going, right? Healthy in business, healthy in competition, right? Right. I don't know if I'm winning or not, right? What happened with the hare and the tortoise?
The
Why
tortoise won.
the tortoise won? Why did the hare lose?
He
Complacency,
said,
right? Thank you very much. Complacency, right? أصل كل معصية وغفلة وشهوة الرضا عن النفس. The basis for every heedlessness of Allah and every vain lust and every sin is, I'm doing right, I'm fine. When I go to Jannah, right? It's okay, right? الناس بأمان ما لم يزل عنهم الخوف فإذا زال عنهم الخوف هلكوا. People are fine as long as they know they're not fine. And as soon as they think that they're fine, they will be destroyed. Right? So this is taqwa. Like, I'm concerned. On Judgment Day, will the poor people of the world have a case against me? Well, I'm Judgment Day. Well, am I responsible? I voted. Was that bad? I didn't vote. Was that bad? I voted for so and so, right? Questioning yourself. Did I harm these people? Was I this? Was it this? Was it like going through your life, right? In a healthy, balanced way, right? There's things you can't deal with, khalas, right? But this is the attitude he has. Right? This is the attitude that he had. Is like, I don't know. Right? So then he says. So then he said. So then he says, when I die, do not weep for me. Don't cry for me. Do not allow fire to follow me, my bias. So this is something that many people they would do, like to make a procession, like make a scene. But you don't do that. Bind my waist wrapper on me, for I'm going to be interrogated. Right? Put me in a situation where I'm ready to go. Right? Shape the sand over me evenly, for my right side is not more entitled to sand than my left. Do not put wood or stone on my grave. Don't mark my grave. You don't want to visit my grave. This is not a place where you want to visit. Right? When you have buried me, then stay with me for an amount of time it takes to slaughter a camel and cut it up. Right? Half an hour. Right? So that I may take some solace from you. Right? So he doesn't know where he's going. Right? He doesn't know where he's going. Right? Makes sense? So do whatever you want to do. Take any rukhsa you want to take a rukhsa. Say any bad thing you want to say about anybody. Do any haram thing, as long as you're guaranteed paradise. Right? If you know you're guaranteed paradise, do whatever you want. If you are not guaranteed paradise, then act accordingly. May Allah protect us. Right? So remember, you're safe as long as you realize you're not safe. Right? All right. ذلك كتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. So this is a book that is for people who are actively trying to protect themselves from Allah's punishment. Why would I do that? Allah's too kind to punish me. Why would I do that? God doesn't even exist, right? So you have this attitude that, yeah, it's okay. Chill, bro. Like your khutbahs are too scary. It's like, okay, well, read this, bro. Read. It's reality. Like there's, it's the Prophet, he said pretty scary things about Judgment Day. Right? Okay, so it says, now we have a new chapter in the book, which is on page 184 and quote 394. And this also it starts here, but again, this is how many hadiths ahead? 20 something. 23 hadiths ahead. So it says, أخبرنا سفيان قال عبد الله بن عباس إذا رأيتم الرجل بالموت فبشروه حتى يلقى ربه وهو حسن الظن به وإذا كان حيا فخوفوه بربه عز وجل. Subhanallah, right? Amazing quote. So here it says Sufyan al-Thawri said that Abdullah ibn Abbas. Do you think Sufyan al-Thawri studied with Ibn Abbas? Anybody? Azhar?
Not sure.
No, he's not going to be doing that, right? So Sufyan al-Thawri, he's like the time of Imam Abu Hanifa and, Imam Malik, that kind of time, right? Maybe a little bit earlier than Imam Malik. But he does not get, so he says, Sufyan al-Thawri says, Qala Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas said. So he probably studied with his grand students, not even his students. Allahu a'lam. So, so he said, when you see a man dying, give him good news, so that he meets his Lord with a good opinion of him. While he's still alive, make him fear his Lord. Notice, so when alive, 60% fear, 40% hope. When dying, more hope than fear. Right? You tell him, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you've done lots of good things. You've done this, you've done that. You're in a lot of pain now, so inshallah, Allah is going to forgive all your sins. Inshallah, all the people, they're like, tell so-and-so, please forgive me. Don't worry, I'll tell all of these people. I'll contact them right now. So-and-so, like my dad's dying, my mum's dying, my brother's dying. Please, can you forgive him? Right? Forgive this person. right? So you go through all of these things, like it's okay. So you have husn al-dhan billah, more hope than fear when dying. When alive, more fear than hope, right? So fear and hope, these are the wings of a bird, as ulama mentioned, right? So if you had a bird and the wings were not balanced, like it's not going to fly properly. So the person has no hope. Why bother? Somebody told me this once. They said, if it's true that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't accept your prayer unless you're focused, why do I even pray? Right? What's the point? Why bother if we're all going to go to hell? Right? So the person doesn't have enough hope. Right? Too much fear. Right? No hope and too much fear. Right? So you have to have fear and you have to have hope. Right? Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. So you have too much hope, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so there was one brother, he was interesting, he's like trying to process things. He's like, I realized that Allah doesn't need us to pray and fast. Which is true, right? They used to think like you have to do this, otherwise something bad will happen, meaning to the world or to Allah. And then it clicked in their mind, hang on, it's not true. Like Allah doesn't need me to pray and fast, right? So therefore I'm not going to do it. Wrong. Allah doesn't need you, but you need to pray and fast, right? You need to do what is right. So they're looking at Allah's istighna, Allah's lack of need of our good deeds. It's true, right? There was a realization in their head, but then their conclusion was, I don't need to do any good deeds. That's cool, Or I realized that Allah could send me to Jannah even if I did bad deeds. Like I always thought like Allah had to punish me if I do bad deeds. It's not. So now I can just chill. No. It is true that Allah doesn't need you to do good deeds. It is true that Allah can send you straight to Jannah, even though you're the lousiest Muslim ever. It's true. And that's what you should hope. Say, Allah, I'm a joke, but just be la shay. Just for no reason. Just accept me and make me with those best people. Right? For no reason. Just because you're Arhamar Rahimin. But that doesn't mean you don't strive really hard. They're two different things. Right? So you still strive really hard. Still ask yourself, is this haram, etc. Right? So, while alive, be careful. Right? خير. In the next hadith, it says, أخبرنا حيوة بن شريح عن أبي صخر عن محمد بن كعب القرظي قال إذا استنقعت نفس العبد جاءه الملك وقال السلام عليك ولي الله الله يقرأ no, it is يقرأ عليك السلام ثم نزع بهذه الآية الذين تتوفاهم الملائكة طيبين يقولون سلام عليكم ادخلوا الجنة. Right? So then he says when استنقعت, right? مستنقعات are swamps, right? Where the water doesn't flow. That's what it means. Like when the soul of the slave reaches the point where it doesn't flow anymore. Right? When it succumbs, the angel comes to him and says, peace be upon you, Wali Allah. Wali Allah doesn't really mean friend of Allah. It means the one who is under Allah's protection. Right? Like my uncle, he was a queen's messenger. Okay, so imagine a queen's messenger is stuck in Venezuela, right? And he's like, hang on a minute, guys, see my passport? Like he had a different passport. It's not even British passport. It says queen's messenger, like one of 14, two of them were part-time, one of them was my uncle, right? So like, hey, I got this thing. Oh, don't mess with him, right? We've got this guy, American citizen coming through. So you got to pull me out because that's what it means, right? Well, American citizen today is a bit different, but you have this piece of paper like I'm part of this. Like, oh, I'm sorry, right? I'm actually the prince of this country. Oh, sorry, right? Here you have a special concern. So Wali Allah means the person Allah's got your back. Oh, you who Allah is backing. That's what it is. Allahu waliyul ladina amanu. Allah has got the back of the people who believe. He's got your back, don't worry about it. He's looking after you. That's what it means. Wali Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives salams to you. Right? And then he mentioned this verse. The verse, peace be upon you. So the angels take in a virtuous state, right? So that's why, may Allah forgive us, we always want to be doing the last thing that we do is a virtuous thing. What was the last thing you did? I closed the fridge. Why did you close the fridge? Preserving other people's property and not wasting electricity and preserving the blessings of Allah. And then you fell over and died, had a heart attack in the kitchen. Right? What was the last thing you do? I was cleaning myself in the bathroom. Why are you cleaning yourself in the bathroom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah yuhibbu tawabin yuhibbu al-mutahhirin. Right? That's what you're thinking about, and you passed out in the bathroom. And you were found, they had to break the door down to get you out, and they found you dead. Right? What was the last thing you do? Taking my kids to school. Why are you taking the kids to school? How did you die in a car crash taking the kids to school? I don't know. Don't do that. Right? That's a very dangerous thing to do. You're in a rush, panic, kids screaming, car crash, and you didn't have a niyyah. Very bad thing to do. As opposed to the last thing I was doing, taking the kids to school, and I was like, why am I taking this kids to school? I want them to learn to be strong Muslims, to stand up on their own 2 feet, to serve this. You have a whole list of niyyahs, right? And then the car hit you, boom, and you all died, right? So this is tayyibina. So this is why life is too short not to have a niyyah, because you don't choose when you die, right? You don't choose when you die. Why were you at work? Why did you stay the extra 5 minutes in the meeting? What was your intention? I had to prove to myself, to the boss. I was nervous about tomorrow. It's not good, right? As opposed to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me, right? Al-mu'min al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. I want to be that strong believer. I know what's going on, know the game. I'm going to be the best person in the meeting tomorrow. I have all the ideas. This is the izzah of Islam. This is the strength of Islam. This is my jihad. Being the best person in corporate America. I own corporate America. I can outdo them in the dunya and deen, and they can't outdo me in anything. This is a jihad that you're doing, right? Should we have a niyyah for everything? You tell me, or Muhammad, Abdullah. It becomes obsessive, right? But that's the obsession of the believer. That's the obsession of the believer. And so what's the opposite of not having a niyyah? Fight Club. What happens in Fight Club, guys? And a million films like this, right? A million things like that. What happens in Fight Club?
Well, they form this underground,
Okay, so what happens there? Great
Well,
film.
they try to do like terrorism to
Okay,
carry out.
before that, okay, anarchy and all these things. But why? How does he get to that thing where he goes in? He walks into the manager's office and beats himself up. Boredom and what do we call that? It's called a midlife
Crisis.
midlife crisis. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? Why do I do what I do? I don't know. Like, it's just meaningless. So what is the opposite of meaningless is a niyyah, right? That like what am I doing in life? Right? What do they say in French? Metro boulot dodo. Get on the metro. Get on the BART, right? In San Francisco. Get on the underground, which is hell. Go to work, boulot. Come back, have a shower. Metro boulot. What's your life? Pointless. I have no idea. Kids screaming. Why are kids screaming? I don't know. Another unappreciated day of being a wife. Another unappreciated day of being a husband. Great. You know? Life just meaningless, as opposed to stop, turn the car off, turn the tap off, stop the conversation. Why am I having this conversation? Stop. Why? Stop. Why? Stop. Why? This is a meaningful life of Muhammad. Right? Why am I doing that? I did that with my cat. I remember this many times. Why am I going to stroke the cat? Stop. Why am I going to stroke the cat? Good point. The other day, my kids were buying ice cream, right? I said, should I buy an ice cream or not? What's my niyyah? Don't have a niyyah. Not going to do it. Right? Meaning. So the opposite of not having a niyyah is having a meaningful life. Everything is a ma'na. Everything is meaning. What did it mean when you parked the car there? Why did you park the car? Why did you get up for the baby? Why did you listen to a husband that does not deserve your respect? Like he's not a good person, with all due respect to most husbands. Why did you listen to him? Because he is my Kaaba. That's what it is. Allah's told me to do sujood to him. I don't care about who he is, what he's done. Irrelevant. I want Allah to see me and say, Allah put a Kaaba in my life. I did sujood to my Kaaba. You know. Why did you answer the phone call? My dad was calling. Why are you doing that? He's intimidating me. Not a good thing. You've just emphasized a bad relationship. My dad intimidates me. That's wrong. You say, my dad does not intimidate me. I'm not trying to impress my dad or be intimidated by my dad, or rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me to respect him, so I'm going to pick up the phone. Assalamu alaikum, dad. How can I help you? What can I do for you? He's complaining about the same thing. I've already given him the solution to it, but he doesn't want to listen to it. Still have adab. Why do I have adab with somebody who doesn't have adab? For the sake of Allah. Why? So the question is, pointless life, meaningful life. So that is a healthy obsession. Why are you doing what you're doing? Stop. Stop the class. Stop the car. Put the car to the road. Stop. What's going to happen? 5 minutes? You're not going to be pulled over. The police are not going to do anything. Tell him having a midlife crisis. Go into the hard shoulder. Stop. Why are you going to work? If you don't have a reason, don't go to work. If you don't have a niyyah for the food to go in your mouth, don't do it. Just stop everything. Because otherwise you will have a midlife crisis. You will go through life. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just a passive. I'm just living life passively. Right? Why do you do that? Everyone else does it. Right? As opposed to stop. What are you doing? Why am I in this marriage? Why am I doing this job? Why do I spend that much money on my mortgage? Why do I spend that money? Why am I fixing my car? Why did I buy this car? Why do I eat this food? Why am I going to sleep? Why am I waking up? What am I doing what I'm doing right now? This is called meaning. You have a meaningful life, and everything is then meaningful. You've turned every single thing into good deeds, as opposed to what are you doing? So it is a healthy obsession on Muhammad. Very important, healthy obsession. And then it becomes natural, right? It becomes natural. Like your motives become natural. So then you have a universal niyyah, right? That becomes much more holistic and balanced. But initially, no, it's not like that. It's like doing exercises, right? Has anybody done has anybody done is it deadlift? Not deadlift. What's it called? Squats. Has anyone done squats? Has anyone done squat training?
Yes.
You know that you like this that I don't know what my teacher was like, you push with like the middle of your foot. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I'm pushing with my toes. And he's like, absolutely do not do that. Right? He's like, you got to push with the middle, like this really weird. So that's kind of like it's not natural. Like I'm trying to push with the middle of my foot. Like why, Or like, why wouldn't I use my back? Right? I want to use my back to pick something up. And you're like, Habibi, don't, whatever you do, don't do that. Like, why? My back's really useful. So then I artificially, right, create a new style, and then it becomes natural, right? And then it becomes muscle memory, like emotional muscle memory. You wake up, the baby is crying. Why are you going to the baby? Why are you answering the phone? So then it becomes a way that you are. So it's artificial and obsessive and weird, and then it becomes natural, right? Natural. So fake it till you make it. Does that make sense? Very, very, very
Yeah, it
important,
does a
right?
good
Very, very
analogy. Yeah.
important, right? So it's weird, right? But seriously, like you have to do this thing, like you have to create your own middle life crises. Meaning, what am I doing in life before it happens? Because when it happens, that's very painful, right? When you're like, what have I been doing in my life? Why did I even memorize Quran? Right? Imam Ghazali, why am I even here teaching with these people? There's no niyyah, there's no ikhlas, there's nothing. Pointless. Right? All of this was pointless. Right? Why do I live with this person? Right? That's a classic question. Like, why do I live with this person? Why do I put up with this? Right? And then you realize, yeah, because you didn't get married for the sake of Allah. And you didn't, and in the sacrifices in your marriage, you didn't question your niyyah. So you were investing in a person, or you're investing in a hope of a relationship. Well, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you invest in anything other than Allah? You didn't have your niyyah, and so you created your own heartbreak, your own disappointment. What's the point? As opposed to, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. It doesn't matter if the person appreciates it or not. It doesn't matter if this relationship goes anywhere. It really doesn't matter. I'm interested that if I died at this moment, this would be the best thing that I ever did. The best thing I ever did was want to say sorry to my wife. Not because she's going to now appreciate me or the relationship is now going to get good. I really don't, that's irrelevant. The point is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, show good akhlaq. I was in a situation where it's not my fault, it's her fault, but I went and said sorry, and then I died. Right? The last thing I did was washing up. The last thing I did with these things, right? So they die, tayyibin, right? The last thing you did was shout at your son. Why did you shout at your son? Because you got angry and ticked off. Right? So this is a huge fitna for test for people with kids, right? The way that we talk to our kids, it's tough. It's not easy, right? For me personally, like I didn't know I had an anger problem until I had kids. It's like it's very difficult being patient with kids because they're your own annoyance. They're like you, right? What's wrong with my kids is because they're like me, basically. May Allah guide them. So it's a problem. So exactly, and there's no manual for parenting. It's hard, but at least, right? At least we can try. If you can't do it on a minute level, you can do it at least on a day level. I'm going to pick up the kids. Why are you going to pick up the kids? Oh, because otherwise I'm going to be late. Why does it matter if you're going to be late? Okay, and then you have no question, you have no answers. You have no niyyah, and it means you're not living life. You're like dead, like you're just a dead person, right? As opposed to somebody who's alive. Like no, every single thing has meaning. When I park my car, meaning. Picking up my kids, meaning. Sacrifices, meaning. Paying my bills the other day, paying my rent. Ya Allah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, what? More than half of your income going down the drain. That's what it's like. Bay Area rent. Like you're insane, right? That's like an insane thing to do, right? You're what is it? You're paying your what's it called? Property tax. That's not even rent, right? You're paying to own your own house, right? There was a brother, subhanAllah, in the Bay Area, $1,000 a month property tax. And his house is not even big. Because just where it was. $1,000. So you're spending $12,000 a year on nothing. It's not even paying off your house. It's not even renting your house. It's actually nothing. So you have to have a niyyah, right? Why would you do that? Otherwise, you're wasting. Like Allah's giving you money and you're burning it. So whenever you do something without a niyyah, you're just burning huge suitcases of dollars. As opposed to you stop, you say, why am I doing what I'm doing? This turns the nothing into everything, and it gives you a meaningful life, a flourishing, meaningful life, right? As opposed to meaningless. And you're going to commit suicide. That's what you're going to do. Or something like that. Everything's just going to break at some point. Like I can't keep giving for nothing. It doesn't make sense. I can't keep trying to do like, what's the point? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What's the point? Why do I give so much when I don't get anything? Right? Because that's the dunya. The dunya will stab you in the back. Your kids will stab you in the back. Your spouse will stab you in the back. Even if they don't mean to, they will break your heart one way or the other. Your kids will break your heart one way or the other. Your spouse will break your heart one way or the other. Your career will break your heart one way or the other. Like it will destroy you. That's what it's designed to do. So that's why, how do you escape? فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ مِنْهُ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Run to Allah. Run to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. I am a clear warner to you. Right? Run away from everything. Make your intention for Allah. Right? Make sense, inshallah?
Yes.
So you were on YouTube and you subhanAllah, what was the last thing you had on was I don't know, the best shots from the event of what's it called, Senegal versus Morocco, and that's what you died. And they found you there, had a heart attack. It's like what a waste of time. May Allah protect us. Okay. Unless you did it for the sake of Allah, right? Watching the match with your son, watching the match with your wife, right? Totally different picture, right? You know.
That
Okay.
makes me feel better.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. But what was the intention then? Was it you? Was it something else? Right? Yeah.
Oh, you're asking, right? Oh,
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking just
okay, okay,
us.
okay,
The
okay.
question is like, oh yeah, I spent this food, I spent this money to take my wife out. It's like, really? Or did you just like the food there? You know, bro.
Mm.
You know, it's like, oh, like yesterday, my son is into BMXing. I do skateboarding. Okay, so I go to this place. He's gonna BMX with this uncle who's showing some things, and I'm just doing the stuff there, like just to be with him, right? But it's like, really? Or you just like skateboarding, bro? You know, it's like,
Mm.
what's your intention, right? What's your intention? So you have to again question, because then what's going to happen is going to change. Your intention will go off, right? What happened, right? You were one place and now you're somewhere else. So what's your intention? Taraweeh, it's fun, it's social, right? As opposed to I'm here to save myself from hellfire, right? And your intention will change slightly your lifestyle and change your actions and change what you focus on. You know, my wife said this the other day. She said, I'm not going to read Quran anymore. What she meant is, like, I'm not just going to read it without understanding it. Like, I'm going to go and read the tafsir. So you see the difference in like, oh, this is what you just do. Like, you just read Quran. And they're like, yeah, but why am I reading Quran? I don't know. It's what you do. It's like, no, you read Quran in order to reflect. Like, what's it telling me? Okay, so then shouldn't I put it down and open the tafsir and find out what it says? You know? So can you see that? Like, it changes the nature of your ibadah, what you do, when you do it, how you do it, right? You know, uh, based on your niyyah,
Mm.
right? So it changes. The way you interact with your kids now changes. The way you interact with your spouse now changes. The way you interact with your work now changes. You might be a better employee now. You might be earlier than before. Because before you were like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm late because they're not going to complain. Yeah, but you're not even thinking about whether they complain or not. I just want to be a good employee. So I'll stand on judgment day and last month that says, you did your job properly. You know, like I'm not even trying them to notice me. I'm not trying to get a promotion or anything. I'm not actually here. I'm not performing for them to see me. I'm performing for Allah to see me. So you're actually a better employee. Your essay writing, your scholarship is better, not because people see you, or not because it's part of your dunya, but it's because it's part of your akhirah. Right. So I remember one sheikh said that. He said, they're saying, oh, we should take the professionalism from the West. It's like, what are you talking about? Our professionalism as people who worship Allah is way better than theirs. Right. But it's just we don't do it. Like we don't worship, you don't turn up on time as Allah wants you to. We don't clean up the desk as Allah wants you to. You don't do jobs properly as Allah. Like we don't have itqan, right? But the professionalism of the person who's doing ibadah is way higher than the professionalism person who's trying to get he's trying to get a promotion or he's trying to get more money or whatever. It's a very different world, right? Khair. Inshallah, we'll stop here. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. So to repeat 120,000%, stop, question, start, stop, question, start, stop, question, start. Very important. Very, very important. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.